Okay, hey guys.
Hi, guys.
So we are so excited to get everybody together tonight. We wanted to just take this time to interview our newest 12K leader. This is Hannah. She has never done network marketing before, but she went 12K in 1 month. And I feel like that is the biggest question is how can you build a business from literally nothing and be successful? So we are so excited to have her on the call tonight. We also have Brittany, who's going to be our newest 40K leader. And obviously, my best
It's
friend,
breaking up just a
excited for this
little
right now.
bit.
So, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so Hannah, first thing I want to ask is what was the first things that you did in your first couple days of starting this business? Before you even got your kit, what did you do?
So I didn't even wait to get my kit to start advertising for samples. As soon as I signed up as a promoter, I was like, Brittany, I'm going to use one of your pictures and I'm going to start advertising for samples before I even got my box. Because I knew just from what Brittany had said and what I'd kind of already seen since being added to the group that samples were going to be like hit or miss. Like this is going to be what seals the deal is these samples. So I knew I wanted to get those out like ASAP.
So, are you saying that you pre-sold your samples before your kit even came?
Oh yeah, I had before my kit took like 3 days to get here, and I'm pretty sure I had like 8 or 9 sold before I even got my box.
Okay, so tell me this, the $1,000,000 question. How did you go about selling your samples before you knew absolutely nothing about how they were going to make you personally feel?
So I had been started off as a customer, but
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, I'd been using Thrive, and Brittany was like, she'd been telling me, you've been using the products, you love the products, you need to take this leap of faith, you need to trust me, I know you'd be great at this. And I kept giving her every excuse in the book. I'm like, I've got 4 boys, I work 50 plus hours a week. I'm like, I do not have time for this. And so I had already been using the product, so I did have that kind of like to my advantage, that I had been using the product. So everything I said, I wasn't promoting that I was using the product. So none of my friends and family, like on social media, unless they knew me in real life, had never seen the products.
I didn't even know.
So do what?
I said I didn't even know you were using them at first until we started chatting again.
Yeah, I don't even remember how it got brought up, but I just said, look, I've been using these products for 2 years. A friend reached out to me with the opportunity to start selling these products. Here's what these products have for me, and I want them to do the same for you.
Okay, so I want to backtrack for a second. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you were at in your life, in your personal life that made you really want more and want to make this decision? Because I know that you had a lot going on. You know, you're a full-time mom. Tell us a little bit about your story.
So hopefully I don't get emotional. I'm a very emotional person.
I love
But
it.
so, and I kind of think it was God's timing. Like, even though I thought it was the worst time, it was probably actually the best time. I signed up to promote like 3 weeks before getting out of the military, which has been our main source of income, and has been the only life I knew for the last 7 years. And I made this decision knowing that I was going to take about a $30,000 a year pay cut. But I was doing it because I was so unhappy, and not because the military is a bad thing, just because it wasn't for me anymore. Kind of like you guys have said with your previous company, it just wasn't your calling anymore. It wasn't tugging at your heartstrings. I'd done it for 7 years and it just wasn't for me anymore. I wasn't happy. So I made that decision. And when Brittany came to me and she's like, you can do this, I have faith in you, I felt like it was, somebody talking to me saying, this is what you need to do. This is what's going to help keep you afloat. You're going to rock it. And so I spent my last we paid all our bills, and I had like $437 in the bank account at the end of February. And I'm like, all right, here goes $400. This is make or break. Like, let's do it. So I was in the military for 7 years. I have 4 boys. I work full time. I'm busy, 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 but I knew that I wanted this and I knew I had to make it work. So literally my first probably week, every single night, I was studying the back office. I was learning the products. I was in Brittany's inbox. I was, figuring out everything I needed to figure out to be able to make myself successful in this.
Oh my gosh, I love your story so much. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you so much for your service. I have fallen in love with you because of your personality and because of the woman that you really, really represent yourself as. It is so inspiring. So I want to talk to you about after you pre-sold your samples, how did you go about actually enrolling those customers and promoters? Because you hit your VIP 800 fast. And then obviously we'll talk about how to go VIP 1600, but you really hit the ground running. So how did you do that with not doing network marketing at all?
Yeah, I was really nervous, and I think I kind of surprised myself a little bit because I didn't even realize how well I was doing until the two of you were constantly like, oh my gosh, girl, you're killing this. You guys were so encouraging, and I don't think I even realized, because I was so new to it, I didn't know that what I was doing was, I guess, fast-paced or whatever, what have you. But honestly, when I hit my VIP 800, I don't remember how long it took me, but those customers, I followed up. If you do not, no matter how much the person loves the product, you have to think about how busy you are in your day-to-day life. Those people are probably just as busy, if not more. The only difference is they had those products for 3 days. This is your business. So yes, they're going to kind of on day, a lot of them came to me. A lot of them came to me on day 2 and were like, can I place an order? Like, I don't want to run out of this. But the ones that didn't, you have to ensure that you follow up with them because there's no guarantee that they're going to follow up with you. I've had quite a few people where I'd message them and be like, hey, did you get your samples? What'd you think? Yada, yada, yada. And they're like, oh yeah, I completely forgot to message you. Can I place an order? And they ended up placing an order. But had I not followed up with them, they probably would have continued to forget, and then I would have never got that sale. So following through is key.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing, amazing. So how about getting your promoters? How did you go about doing that? I mean, obviously, I cannot even stress this enough. Like, I feel like so many people talk about, well, I don't think I can do that because you've been doing it for 2 years, and they look at my story and they look at Brittany's story and everyone else, and they think that because we've done it, they can't be successful. But here you are, coming literally out of the woodwork, killing it. How are you telling people, look, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to make money. Come join this journey with me and change your life with me. Like, how do you go about doing that?
Okay, so 2 things to touch on the promoters, because I felt like I was having a really hard time at first, and then I kind of switched my way. I switched from being like, hey, I want you in business with me, to I talked about our tribe. Because I know one thing that was huge for me when Brittany started talking to me about promoting was I have no idea what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm going to get lost. Like, not anything against Brittany, because I knew her in particular wouldn't drop me. But in my head, I'm like, I'm going to sign up as a promoter. She's going to help me for a week, and then I'm going to be lost. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea what I was walking into. And I only say that because I've seen that happen to so many of my friends with other businesses. Like, other businesses, they get their enroller and then they're out. They touch base every now and then just to try and keep a good rapport. So one thing I really, really, really touch on when I'm talking to potential promoters is our tribe. Like, knowing what I know now, that would have sold it to me. Like, if I could just get a glimpse into our tribe, which is awesome for our, on Thursdays, where we do our opportunity events, I always share those because that gives potentials a glimpse into our tribe that I talk about all the time. So talking about our tribe is super huge. I do that, and I love it because I know once they sign up and I add them to the group and I add them to the group chat, they're going to be like, holy crap, Hannah wasn't full of it. Like, she was being for real. And then they talk about the tribe. You know what I mean? So that I really focus on our tribe more so than the auto bonus and this and that, because they're going to see all that. I talk about that, but I talk about the support that we have, and people love that. And then the other thing, not particularly with, and this really helped me hit my VIPs. When I'm talking to anybody like that's really close to me, like those people that you would go to watch your kids, those people you would go, the people that you're really close to, if they're like, hey, I want to place an order, I always bring up the opportunity to promote. I always let them know that there's no fees. I always, like my mom and my dad, like my mom was my second promoter. I got a friend that wanted to promote, and then my mom, I literally didn't even ask her. I was talking to her about my goals and what I had to do to hit them and how close I was to hitting them. And she's like, well, can I just sign up as a promoter? And I'm like, heck yeah. Like, so talk to your friends and family, like the closest people to you, talk to them about your goals, and they might surprise you and be like, hey, well, I want to promote. Let me try this.
Yeah.
And then always make promoting an option to people that are looking to purchase product anyways.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective when you can compare the cost for being a customer as a promoter.
Yeah, exactly. Like I thought I was going to have to be paying out the butt for website fees and this and that. And when Brittany was like, no, there's no, I'm like, wait, what? Are you serious? I can do this for free? So, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, mom life is kicking in.
No, you're
Okay,
good.
so talk to
That's
me
what
about like your current customers and your current promoters. Are they all people that you know? Have you met some of them through social media? Are they people from your high school? Like, tell me about some of your customers and promoters. Did you have a warm market, or did you really have to grow off a cold market?
A little bit of both. So surprisingly, I don't know how it worked out this way, but it did. A lot of my promoters are fellow moms, so not necessarily people I know like from real life, but we've built a relationship. I have two mommy groups that I'm in. One is from my 3-year-old, and one is from my baby, my 8-month-old. So a lot of my promoters have come from those groups, and then my customers, I have customers reach out to me on Instagram, and I don't even use it. I'm really trying to work on utilizing and using Instagram a lot more than I do because I'm not as good at it.
Yeah.
But Instagram, I don't know what it is, if it's because of I have it completely public, but people I don't even know will reach out to me just from my story, not even necessarily my hashtags, but like my stories, because I always tag places. So like if I'm somewhere, I'll tag that place and then it shows up on like their feed or something. I'm still getting used to Instagram. But it's kind of a mix, I would say. I have really worked hard at networking because that was something that was new to me, but I definitely did have like a warm, inviting, like a lot of my friends were, hey, let me try the samples. And a couple of my friends, they're like, I trust you. Let me buy a month's supply. So I did have a kind of a balance, but I definitely had to work on my networking. So I'd say it's a good 50-50.
Totally. And I feel like that's something that everyone can really, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I want to hear. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to touch up on that. I feel like that's something that everyone can really relate with and take into heart is, she built her network before she even started network marketing with women who she had no idea that she was going to actually impact their lives. So it doesn't matter if you've started and you're going to start networking the day you start, or if you've done it for years and you're just choosing to start this business for an extra income. But you have to network, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of networking before I was even in network marketing without knowing it.
It's crazy how that works. Like a lot of us just on our everyday basis, we're already doing what we do as a business. Like when people come to me and like they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I just incorporate what I love in my everyday life. Just if you see me posting, it's just my normal everyday life and something I truly love and being passionate about. And that comes across in your stuff, like how you post, even though you're not posting, like you post passionate posts that hit people's heartstrings or that get people's attention, and you incorporate your family and your children in them. And that's huge because you're real and raw to yourself. And I think that's also a good thing. It's like keeping as far as how you are posting there too.
Yeah, and that's something I definitely wanted to like, I guess kind of touch on a little bit, just like my 2 cents. I don't even want to say new people because I'm still new, but to when you're getting started. I quickly realized in my first like 4 days, sorry, my son's outside my window now. I quickly realized that I was not going to get anywhere by just advertising and just like, what's the word I'm looking for? He threw me off. Like instead of advertising and instead of selling, I was just sharing. And I've continued to do that because I started off with like, oh, here, I do every now and then, I'll be like, here are products, here are what they do. But normally when I talk about the products, I try to go live because I feel like it's less, copy and pasty. So I try to make sure that nothing seems like an advertisement. I try to make sure everything seems like it's just me sharing. You know what I mean? Like your life still exists, but Thrive Now exists in your life, if that makes sense.
Totally.
I wanted to touch on what you feel like sets you apart in your conversations, because a lot of you, like when it comes to your first 2 weeks, obviously when you want you guys to hit the ground running and get those VIPs and stuff, because we want you guys to experience that, but not everyone does, and that's totally fine. A lot of us don't. But what sets you apart in your conversation, like when you're talking to potentials, that you feel like helps people see you for you, like your passion behind, not the sales aspect of it?
I don't think that, and this is just me, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it's worked well for me. I never go into a conversation with, even if they like approached me first, like if they showed up and like, because sometimes I'll message somebody first if they responded to my post or, they dropped a comment or something like that. I'll message them first. Regardless of if I message them first because they asked for a message or if they message me first, I'm never like, hey, this is Thrive. This is what this Thrive is about. You know what I mean? I'm always like, hey, what's up? How's your Friday? Or if I know them personally, I'm like, hey, what's up? How's Kingston doing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever get and copy and paste from my notes into like, hey, these are the products. What do you want? I always, always, always start a conversation with them. And if we text back and forth for 10 minutes before, the products get brought up, that's great. But 90% of the time, they end up bringing up the products before I do. So then again, it makes them think like, oh, hey, I asked. She's not sitting here pushing. She's asking me how my dog is, how my husband is, how work was. So I always try and get them, even if I'm messaging them first, to ask about the products. Because I think that makes it seem like less of, like they're not just another checkbox. It makes them feel like I genuinely want to help them, which is what I want them to feel. I don't want people to think that I'm just in their inbox trying to make a sale, because yes, it is about, this is our business, this is what we're doing, and I hope to do well with it, but it's so much more than that, So I think just making sure that you relate to those people. And I know I think like Katie's the one that actually takes notes about the last thing that she talked to that person about. And I really, really, really want to start doing that because I think that's huge. I don't do that. Yeah, I don't do that, but I need to do that. But I always try and make it personal before I just jump straight into products.
Yeah, it's helpful when you do write things down, at least for something that I've always done throughout business in general. And that's why I love that Katie touched on that the other day, is how she does like will build that rapport. I have mom brain half the time. I don't even remember, let alone 5 minutes ago. So I like to always write down a little note to the person, because these are like my follow-up. These are the people that I want to talk to. I go.
Yeah.
Definitely what you said as far as like building that rapport, building that relationship is key. That's what sets it apart. And the fact that you're not jumping right into the conversation, I think that's what sets your business apart, and why you've got to 12K so fast, and like why you're still building, like you're 40K. Megan, what other questions did you want to touch on? Megs. I don't think she's
you know what? I don't really think I have any questions. I think of our business is really, really just hitting the ground running and going for rolling those 2 promoters, those 4 promoters for VIP 1600, VIP 800, and teaching them to do the same exact thing. And that is what I know that is what got her to 12K. And this is what's so amazing is, you know, I feel like this has to be said, is the fact that everyone that you enroll is not going to be a runner, and that is okay. But it's the fact that you keep pushing and you keep going, because she would not be 12K right now if she didn't. And that is what I love.
And you have to, one thing that you have to just keep in mind is, like, you're only going to hit the ground running if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, if I would have came into the business and just been like, you know, yeah, I'll get there, Brittany. Like, we'll get there. I'll get there, Megan. Like, you would have known that I didn't quite want it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to want it in a month. That's not going to mean I'm not going to want it in 2 months. But I came in knowing that, holy crap, I need to make this work for my family. But don't give up on those people either. If you have people that, you know, aren't hitting the ground running, that's okay. You know what I mean? The VIP 800 and the VIP 1600 are the only two that really have, like, you know, the deadlines, and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. So everyone's going to hit it at their own time. Everyone's going to have that aha moment. And if you enroll people that, you know, want to take their time, that's perfectly fine. You know, does that make sense?
It definitely does.
Totally.
It really, really does. I like that you've always, like, never compared yourself to anyone else in your journey too. Like, when you got started, you just, like you said, you looked down and put your blinders on, and what people thought about you, and just went straight for it. Like, you worked your butt off to get where you got, and you're helping so many other people be duplicable and being able to do the same thing. Like, you're teaching your team to do the same thing, and you have girls that are hitting their bonuses and stuff, and that shows. So the fact that you're hit the ground running and didn't let anything get in the way of that is what is going to help get you to where you want and get those goals where you're wanting to go, and help others do the same. And that's what it's about. Yeah. And that's what I love that you do. Like, you straight go for it.
Yeah, it was make it or break, and I was going. I was ready. I wanted it. And you have to want it. You have to want it, because I think it was actually, I pick up lots of things that stick with me from different leaders, from you guys and stuff. I think it was actually Dustin that said one time about how it's the easiest hard work you're ever going to do. Mm-hmm. If you come into this thinking, you know, I'm going to press the promoter button and then I'm going to start getting paid. That's not what it's about. You're going to have to work. You have to want it. You have to work, you know, and you're going to go places if you want it and if you work. So.
Megs, anything else you want to touch on?
No, I seriously, it's things like this, just really getting to see someone else's story and someone else's perspective is what makes you to even be a part of this community. And who's listening to this and thinking that they can't do this, be living proof that you can. So, you know, actually the last thing I was going to ask is if you can give some tips or tricks for new promoters who have.
What was the last part, Meg? It went off.
What was that, Meg? New promoters that have what? I think was she asking for, like, tips for new promoters?
I think, like, what you would give their advice when you first start, like what you would do to give those tips when they first start.
So like 3 big things that I've said this before in, like, some of our team things, but I'll be real quick. One is absolutely 110% utilize our team, utilize our group chats, we have so many resources available to us, our weekly trainings, our opportunity events. We have we have group chats, you know what I mean? Utilize those people, stay active in those, don't fall inactive, don't be a fly on the wall, become a part of that, 100% fully become a part of that. I feel like that's huge, because just like you want to build a rapport with your customers, it's just as important to build a rapport with your team. So utilize your team 110%. Another thing is learn your back office. Like, I personally but this is going to be sound a little contradicting, but so when you first sign on, all you need to focus on, and I tell my girls that have signed up underneath me this, I want you to focus on nothing but your VIPs and samples. Like, that's it. Don't worry about anything. If you have any questions, ask me. I'm like, don't try and learn the business right now. Don't try and, try and worry about everything else, because in 2 weeks we can start working on that. Even after 4K, I don't even think I really learned much about like charting and placement and this and that until I hit 12K, and I'm still learning from you guys. So I think that really focusing on your VIPs and your sampling in your first 2 weeks is huge. But at the same time, and this is where it gets contradicting, is make sure that you're doing your research. Like, if you have a question from a customer, it's a big help to you to go into your back office and try and find that answer. We have so many resources and documents and everything available to us. And just by going in there, even if you don't find the answer and you have to go to our team chat and ask for the answer, you spent 5 minutes in your back office that you wouldn't have otherwise, and I guarantee you your brain picks something up that's going to be beneficial in the future. So even if I tell my girls as soon as they sign up, I'm like, give me 20 minutes, let me get the kids to bed, go cruise around your back office, and then we're going to talk. Just to kind of get familiar with it, because if you don't know where anything is on your back office, it's going to be a disaster. So definitely those two things. There was one other one. I don't remember what the other one was though. Be confident. That's a big one. I started off in the beginning, and I'll tell you, this is kind of funny. And in the beginning, I mean like the first week, I was telling people when they're like, oh, okay, so that sounds great. What's the price? It would be like, I'd be like, oh, so it's going to come out to $5 a day. Okay. In my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this okay? Like, in my head, I'm like, this is what's going to, I don't know what just on. Hello.
Hang on, Hannah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. Okay, good. Nice.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see me or not, but
I can.
I'm frozen on my end. Am I frozen?
No, you're not frozen.
Okay. So one thing, again, be confident in the prices, because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, you guys, it only comes out to $5 a day, instead of being like, hey, it's $150 a month, or hey, it's $190 a month. But I thought that was working for me, but in real life, it wasn't. So as soon as I changed my mindset to being like, yeah, it's $190 for a month, you're going to get a month of all three products, and it's 110% worth it. They're like, oh, okay. Instead of, I thought breaking it down was going to be the way to go, but it really wasn't for me personally, because I feel like then they do the math and then they see that big number and they're like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? So be confident in our prices. Let them know what the price is off the bat. Don't try and sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Just be like, hey, it's $190 and it's 1,000% worth it. I promise you.
Meg, anything else?
Megan, why are you so cute?
Who?
Both of you. Megan looks like a little.
Is she
in
on?
her leather jacket.
Oh, her picture.
No, it just popped up. She's on video now.
Oh, she is? Wait.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hang on. My boyfriend is all saying bye to me. Didn't we all see me kiss? He hates me when I do this. He's all embarrassed right now. No, I'm not. I love you. Oh, Megan, you look like freaking like grease, straight up, just like your.
I know. And then there's me. Look at me, my hot mess up.
Okay, I don't think you can look like a hot mess. Okay, this is totally recording, guys. Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, Britt, do you feel like we covered everything?
Yeah, I feel like I think we covered everything that I would like to cover.
I agree. Touched on so many tips, and I feel like that was amazing. The last thing I do want to say, reach out. for help, reach out to get us on three-way calls, three-way Zooms, three-way anything to seal the deal with customers, with promoters. Watch all the videos on our Thrive and Tribe team page,
Yes.
whatever it is, videos, and learn. Grow your mind. Don't just come into this and say, yay, I signed up, I'm going to make $800. Work for it, and you will make so much more while changing other people's lives. And that will be than any payout than you will ever get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was another thing that I had written down on my list, but I didn't really touch on it. Is I've probably watched every single video on the team page. I probably watched them all within like the first 4 days. I just sat there and clicked next, watched all the videos, and it's huge. It's important.
Definitely utilizing our team chat, your leaders. So whoever signed you up, whoever is your sponsor, utilize us, text us, call us, whatever we need to be there for you, no matter what. That's the first thing I want you guys to understand is we're such a united force. That is why our team is in the direction it is, and that's why God has his hand on it so hard, because we unite together. And so I really want to strengthen that, because that's something I never experienced. And having the leaders we do, that's what we're here for. That's all I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're good then.
Yes.
Yay.
Have a great night.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.